But one person who is always on the periphery of this mine of salacious information is Granville. No matter how often he tries, he finds himself excluded. But why?
Well, he was supposed to be the young lad, wasn't he? He was supposed to be... He sort of looked about early 30s, but could be read as being sort of 11, really.
It's not possible for a woman of my age to have a good gossip with a person of your age.
He's so subjugated that that part of his development hasn't arrived yet, so he's still wanting to know about the secrets of womanhood.
All females to me are a magical mystery.
Don't be stupid, Granville. Give me a packet of them jam tarts.
Could you just explain to me why it is never possible for people just to talk to me?
Because you're weird.
There you are, you see.
Probably, if he knew a little bit more about life in general, Arkwright would see the back of Granville. He'd be off. So, in fact, he tried to exclude him.
Why is it I never get involved in these powerful little human dramas, eh? I mean, it's not as though I'm not available. I mean, I could be lured away from stacking carrots by the first determined, mature woman to come along. Well, practically the first, isn't it?
You read about these things. Young men at a certain time of life.
Not so certain. Never has been certain.
Becoming obsessed by older women.
I wouldn't say obsessed.
Granville became a sex symbol for hard-working, very serious, middle-aged northern housewives.
I suppose it's because I've got a big bust. Things are never what they seem, Granville. Oh, my bosom may look all right when it's all trussed up. But if you was ever there when I let it all loose, lad, it'd scare you to death.
A couple of girls have eventually gone out with him, you know, in the evening. But mainly it's people walking past with their nose in the air and him falling off the apples.
How do, Granville?
Granville was in that shot from 6 till 11 at night. What chance did the poor sod have?
Have a rum truffle. You're lovely.
I'm not lovely.
Well, you're nearly lovely.
There you are, Granville.
Are you still doing Open University?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I could come round one night and we could talk about contemporary themes in literature and you could wear that short dress.
Unfortunately, she was too sophisticated. She'd never have fallen for Granville, but he couldn't see that because he was... he was locked into this time warp, wasn't he?
By the time I'm finished, all the talent's either fixed up, washing its hair, or gone to bed.
You poor love. What you need is a sympathetic married woman.
Much to his terror, Granville is often confronted with the possibility of carnal knowledge.
Or better still, a sympathetic ex-married woman.
Will he match up? Will he throw up? Or will he get it up?
They say it's like riding a bike. You never forget. Well, he'd never ridden this particular bike, so, I mean, the poor boy had no way of knowing if he was any good.
Me milk woman's coming. Oh, my God, she's coming. I mean, what do you say to an ex-married person of wide experience? I mean, you know, what have we got in common besides a daily pinter? She may be overflowing with the milk of human kindness, but suppose I lose me bottle.
Probably Milkwoman would like to have gone into this rather virgin territory, but perhaps a little reticent.
Morning, Granville. For me?
Maybe wanting a little more from her life than possibly a corner store. Wanting someone a little more like John Wayne than Granville wanting.
And sadly for Granville, Milkwoman did find someone a little more like John Wayne.
Big, isn't he?
Like you and me, Arkwright and Granville have to graft to eke a living. Up at the crack of dawn and getting no sleep till bedtime. Our two working-class heroes know that if you don't work, then you don't eat.
I think it's a little gem of northern working-class humour.
You know, when old Blue Eyes sings about the wee small hours of the morning, it's obvious he never works in a shop.
I know your sort. If I didn't turf you out of bed of a morning, you'd be lying around there while gone 7.
Some of the success, of course, of Open All Hours is because it's working class. It's something which a lot of us recognise.
If only the nurse had a more respectable job.
Well, nursing's respectable.
Well, you never know what they've had hold of, do you?
It's well written about working class people. It doesn't glamorise it and it doesn't make it appear heroic.
I believe in, you know, music and art and literature.
You don't believe in anything real, do you?
Yeah, they're real.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Not to us. They're only real to people like teachers who don't have to work for a living.
I'm surprised that there aren't more comedies set in workplaces. I don't know, I've never thought of it like that, because that is the ideal place to set a sitcom, because of the hierarchies. You've got it instantly there.
He thought about you.
Did he?
While he was still drowsy from the anaesthetic.
No. Go on. Did he?
Ring our Granville, he said, and see if he sold them other 12 toilet rolls.
You don't honestly think I'm going to get away with this, do you?
Someone has always got to be the butt of the joke. No matter what joke, someone has to suffer. It's the law of comedy.
Hey, hang on.
Oh, what is it now?
If you didn't upset anyone, you would be saying nothing.
Oh. They're coming from far and wide.
Most people like what they like, and they realise these days that they have to pretend to like things they're supposed to like, but I mean, they don't always mean it.
Anyway, the milkwoman reckons I've got gypsy-looking eyes.
Oh, yeah. Neither taxed nor insured, I know.
I think because the character of Arkwright would have had no truck with, you know, political correctness or with alternative comedy. It wouldn't have made any sense to him. They were lucky, really, because there was no need for it to kind of, you know, invade that little world.
Do you know that things were so hard in my day that people from Bradford used to go looking for work in Pakistan?
There was a scene with a little boy smoking a cigarette outside the shop, and you went, you can't crikey.
You shouldn't be smoking at your age. Not if you're not buying them from me, you shouldn't.
Everybody was a butt of Arkwright's joke, whether it was some woman or some... it doesn't matter. He ignored all of those rules or things, or implications that were coming in, and we just did what was funny.
Ginger cake? Jamaican ginger. Land of the throbbing drums. Land of the tropical heat. Land of the... Woodbines.
Oh, where did I go wrong, eh? I mean, you know, I could have been anything, couldn't I, eh? I could have been a captain in the Paris. Or a one-parent family. Could have been an astronaut.
Granville was stuck with Arkwright, and he knew that until Arkwright passed on, or passed out, or whatever he did, he would never quite be free.
Look at me. I'm stuck here slicing bacon and my life is trickling away. I don't suppose I shall ever be cited in a divorce case.
It'll be short-sighted if you are.
I think British comedy is quite good at doing failure.
Do you know what that sound is? You know what that is?
Yes, I do. That's the fight bell. It means a second's out and let's get some money in the blue corner.
No, that is life passing us by. That is mortality, old age, sickness, death.
I think great comedy does need an element of some characters who are trapped in their world, and you're feeling that they'll never ever escape from it. And that's certainly true of Granville, isn't it?
Is the only real difference between Arkwright and Granville that one of them has accepted their fate while the other is still dreaming of salvation?
None of us really are ever prepared to turn round and say, you know, this is all there is. This is my life. That's what it's going to be. The people who can find the strength to do that are probably, you know, the happiest people, really, who accept that that's what life is. In a sense, Arkwright, I think, has accepted that's what life is.
Don't just try to sell him something. Talk to him about his dreams and his aspirations.
See, they've got the drains up again outside the slaughterhouse.
They're stuck together. There's nothing funnier than two people stuck with no way out, waiting for something to come and save them.
Good night, Granville.
Oh, don't send him out on his own.
Oh, don't fret about me. There's so much to do. I mean, the whole town's abuzz.
So is there a conspiracy among the chattering classes based in the soft southern underbelly? Or is it simply the case that only open all hours can extract every ounce of northern wit, warmth and wisdom?
The North just somehow sums it up. It signifies the North, those corner shops.
It's the wife that decided I was a dedicated do-it-yourselfer.
Oh, that explains it, yeah.
Left to my own devices, I'm more your keen amateur idle beggar.
The writer knew his subject and his subject matter. That's why it was placed in the North. And all those funny characters actually came from the North.
She wanted me to prove how much I loved her by redoing the bathroom with self-adhesive tiles. Self-adhesive, have you used them?
No.
I was up till 2 o'clock trying to let go of a nightie.
The very names, Arkwright, Nurse Gladys Emanuel, Granville, they're so solid and so northern, they couldn't be anything else. And it's like Millstone grit meets restoration comedy.
I've got this good, steady Indian clientele, no bother at all. It's the Yorkshire customers. They're very weird customers to crack. Between you and me, sometimes I wish they'd all bug off back to York.
It's almost like Arkwright is not really a grocer, he's kind of God. And he's thinking about the little mortals that he's had to do with during the day.
It's a dark night. God save all lonely travellers, especially those good-natured, simple souls inclined to spend money.
It's a wonderful way of telling the audience that the end is coming. I'm wrapping up the shop, I'm closing for the night, and meanwhile, here are a few thoughts of Arkwright's to go to bed with.
I was in with a chance tonight. I'll murder that Granville. Maybe tomorrow I'll manage to get me legs either side of her fireplace.
A great philosopher, really, wasn't he? I don't think I would have followed his philosophy, but I mean, you know, he had his philosophy and he was going to stick to it.
I wonder if Nurse Gladys is thinking of going into black underwear when her mother dies. I would certainly try to talk her out of it.
It gives it that real pathos to it, that, you know, after all the shenanigans in the shop, just brings you nicely to, rounds up to an end and waiting for the next episode.
Fancy asking Wavy Mavis to ring for the fire brigade. She dialed 999. A voice said, "Which service, please?" and that was it.
It was so romantic and nice. It was nice. It gave you a feeling of safety. You thought, oh, Arkwright's gone to bed now, but he'll be up again tomorrow.
So an episode of sheer daftness coming up next tonight. And next week, Carol Vorderman argues the case for the Vicar of Dibley.